We have an innocent yet naive but important question that I think most people who aren't involved in finance or investing are not aware of. And the world of finance and economics and investing can be misleading because there's all these numbers and math involved. You think, oh, this is like a legit science. No, we use numbers and math to measure what happened in the past, but there is no concrete, predictable, practical way to figure out which investments are going to do good, which investments are going to do bad, and what's going to happen in the future. And I don't care how many, just understand the simple fact. All the numbers you see analyzed and researched and all comes from the past in investing and finance and statistics. It's all the past, which has no bearing on the future. I mean, it might be a rhyme and a reason and all that, but the future is not the past. Some trends hold up, others don't. But the math and the numbers and the charts, I think, misleads people outside the realm of investing in finance and economics to think that these fuckers know what's going on. And I don't know if you've noticed, especially in the field of economics, none of those fuckers know what's going on. Because if they did, we wouldn't have debts. Frankly, a decreasing standard of living, not if you want to believe in GDP per capita, but shittier and shittified products. People would be having more kids because the future would be bright. Economists, they don't know how to do their job, but it's almost impossible to do their job because you're asking them to predict the future, which can't be done. So I have a question here, and you want me to predict the future, and I charge you money, say, well, I can't do that. What I can do is tell you how the real investing world works, why that's an impossible question to answer, and then we're going to go over the investing list I compiled before of what are the most important investments that you should make in order. And by the way, when I say you should invest in stocks or an index fund, I don't tell you which. I just say this asset class at this point in time in your life, after you've invested in all these other things, it's probably about time to start thinking about investing in the stock market. But nowhere at any time can I guarantee you stocks are going to go up or going to go down. And no one can. No one. And when you see that Dow Jones 73,000, idiot predicts. Yeah, that is an idiot predicting. And it's probably just clickbait for you to click on the article. I mean, with enough inflation, yeah, the Dow Jones will hit a zillion, bazillion points. You get enough inflation. But the issue of when or where? Hello, Aaron Summary. Will there be a 50% collapse in the stock market in the near future? I don't know. Nobody does. What makes you think? Here's another thing. If I knew, why would I tell you? I'd go short the day it happens. I'd take a huge short position and it's Tuesday at 3:45 p.m. Time to start shorting the market. This is when the crash happens. Right? And if anyone were to have this magical ability, they wouldn't tell you people. Because then you guys would all take positions and squeeze out all the profit that could be made. If somebody has insider information, that's different, but the same effect. Like if I know they're going to release some data at, I don't know, GM, and I got some inside data, like Nancy Pelosi, and then I go trade on it. Yeah, but when it's going to hit. Well, that's inside data. If outside of that, no, I have no idea. Will the stock market go down by 50%? Maybe. I don't know. I guarantee you this about the stock market. It'll go up, then it'll go down. Then it'll go up, and then it'll go down. Don't ask me by how much or when. I guarantee you, sir, in the future, the stock market will go both up and down. And that's all I can promise you. So a 50% collapse in the near future. What is near future? I don't know. Nobody knows. 2, where would you invest $50,000 a year if not in the markets? I can't tell you. I'm not licensed. If you want, go talk to a certified financial planner. They will give you their best guesstimate. And it is a guesstimate. So here's the details. You're willing to pay for a research response if necessary? No, there's no research to do. There's no research to do. 1, I can't tell you where to invest it. 2, I don't know what's going to happen to the market, even if I was the most researched person ever. Please keep me anonymous. I would like your opinion on the likelihood of a massive stock market collapse of up to 50%. I would like to see it happen. So would I. That'd be great. Things go on. And then things would be reasonably priced. I'm about to invest significant money, likely 50, 60,000 for the next few years. I'm trying to decide if now is the time to invest in the market or if I should bank the money somewhere else and wait for a crash. Well, if you figure that out, there are some gentlemen in New York, they'll pay a couple $1 trillion to go work for them. I'm 40 years old and debt-free, and I'm budgeting $30,000 for living expenses. I am late to financial planning, and I don't want to dump money into the market right before a crash. I wish I could help you. I wish I could say, yep, like a train. Yep, at 11:47 Tuesday, that's when the market's going to crash. And then at 2:15 p.m. on July 22nd, 2020, that's when the market's going to rebound. That's when you want to buy in at that amount of minutes before or late. Right. At whatever time I said before. So the best thing I can do, aside from explain to you why no one can answer that question and why it's all gambling at the end of the day, although there's educated gambling, I will go over the investing list, priority of investments you should make. And this I can provide because I'm not giving you individual specific things to invest in. Like I'm not saying go invest in ABC mutual fund or ABC stock. I'm saying have this financial goal met before you move on to this financial goal and get this goal met before you go on to the third goal. And there is some debate depending on where you are in life. This isn't set in stone, but here's a general order of where you should have your money invested in a prioritized type of way. Like first do this, then do this, then do this. So maybe there's some things here you say, oh, I hadn't thought about paying off my debts, or I hadn't thought about that. So let's go through it. All right. First, the micro fuck you fund. The micro fuck you fund is very important. It's the first thing every person should have because it hedges and insures against corrupt, cocksucking, scumbucket, die in the worst depths of hell employers where they lie about the job description and then they lie about your duties. They bait and switch and they become psychotic. They're literally psychotic, mentally ill people that you cannot work for. And the main reason you get that micro fuck you fund is so that the second you find out that they lied about the job, you leave. And you don't have this like 5-month gap on your resume where you're desperate because what worst thing you could do is move to another town, sign a year-long lease for an apartment, and now you're stuck there. So some free information for you kids. When you move out, if you're moving away from home or your base and you go to a job that's in a different town, you never get a year-long lease. Get a month-to-month. You pack a backpack and that's it because you don't know if you're going to be there. You don't know if the employer is going to be a cocksucker. So you just wait. And then when you find out, oh, they fucked around, they lied. Okay, cool. I'm here for a month. Bye. And you go back home and you apply for different jobs. Matter of fact, you never stop applying for jobs. The micro fuck you fund, which I define as 3 months minimum living expenses, should insure against that. Ideally, more like 6 months. Ideally, 2 years. Then you can go have some fun. But you want at least 3 years 3 months living expenses. Ideally 6. Matching contributions to a retirement plan. If your employer offers a 403b, a 401k, something start with a 4, and they offer a match, that is free money, which is hard to get 100% rate of return. So now I'm not telling you what to invest your retirement funds in. I'm just saying contribute to your retirement fund so they give you the match and you get the money. Sometimes they match 25%, sometimes 50, sometimes a dollar for dollar, 100% match. Contribute to the match contribution max. That for it, so you get that free money as much as possible. 3. Now we get into a little bit of a debate. I would then say your third most important thing is to tackle high interest debt. 22% credit cards, a 14% car loan, whatever your high interest rates are, toss that in there because it's risk-free. If you have a 22% credit card debt, that's 22% of interest you're saving risk-free. Pretty hard to beat that rate of return. All right. 4, tools and skills to repair your own house and car and your tech. The skills is harder. You don't necessarily have to go to school. You can go to YouTube, School of YouTube, but the tools, which isn't going to set you back that much. We're talking maybe $1,500 worth of tools. I would get tools and teach yourself the skills to repair your car and your house and your computers. 5, a slightly larger micro fuck you fund. So now we're up to 6 months. 6, right? We haven't even talked about education. Skills and training if you don't already have it. This presumes you come out 18 years old, you're going to live with your parents, work 2 full-time jobs, start saving some money, buy some tools, pick up some skills. And about this time, yes, you should be thinking about trade school or the military, college only if it's STEM or accounting or something worthwhile or things that worthless Democrats like to major in, like journalism or philosophy or English. 7, then you have your regular retirement plans, your IRAs, 401ks without the match, if you don't have the match. So that would be you throw it into an IRA. You get a tax benefit, whether it's Roth or traditional. I'm not going to go into the details of which either right now, but you get a tax benefit. Then I would go on to other non-mortgage debts. So this is debt that accrues interest, but it's not your mortgage because you can write your mortgage interest off, your taxes. So that's why we kind of kick that down the road a little bit. But you have and this depends on the inflation rate too. Like right now, like if you got a 3% car loan, no, you shouldn't be paying that off. Let Joey Biden and Uncle Trump and Uncle Obama, Trump first term, let their inflation eat away at that. But if your interest rate is higher than the rate of inflation, and significantly so, pay it off. Student loans, car loans, it's a fair or sensible interest rate, but still pay it off. 9 is housing, specifically your down payments or buying a piece of land empty or investing in real estate investment trusts. I can't tell you which. I'm just saying somehow you invest in housing. Could be buying your own house, could be a rental property, whatever. Now it's time to start accruing for a down payment on property. So there's that. Then there are inflation hedges. These are your precious metals, cryptos, a diversified portfolio. I'm not going to say of what. A diversified portfolio historically has hedged well against inflation. But if you are a dentist or an accountant, your hour of wages, your hour of labor is naturally hedged against inflation. Dentists just charge more. Once you have enough, now I recommend 200 ounces of silver and 1 full Bitcoin. That's the one thing I will stick my neck out on. Not now. I'm not saying you go buy now, all of it now, and go into debt. No. Over time, you should, by the time you retire, buying a little bit here, buying a little bit there, maybe dollar cost averaging, however you do. I'm not saying buy everything now. By the time you're looking at your mid-60s, you should ideally have 200 ounces of silver. And I would even go a portfolio that is equivalent of cryptocurrency, equivalent to 1 Bitcoin. So it could be Ethereum, Litecoin, whatever it is you want, Bitcoin itself. So some kind of little bit of an inflation. Some people recommend art. All right. Some people more modernly are recommending classic cars. Okay, if you got the mechanical ability, I do that. 11. Now, if you're getting 200 ounces of silver and you got a full Bitcoin, things are going pretty well. Then I would look at paying off your home if you have a mortgage. Okay, that's what I would do. Depends on interest rate, of course, as well. You know, like right now, a lot of people with their 2% plus interest rates, they're never going to pay off their home. Fuck that shit. But, you know, you got to, if you financed in, say, the past 2 years, your interest rate is between 6.5%, 8.5%. Maybe a refi at a lower rate. And then finally, this is only after you have done 1 through 11. You've gotten out of debt. You've paid out of your mortgage free. You got a 60-year long fuck you fund. You fully contributed IRA, 401k, this and that, and this. The final one that you are allowed to. Now you're allowed to have fun. The 12th investment, after all 11 came before it, is you get yourself a single mom with herpes. That's the final, and you can't put a price on that investment. That, sir, that's the pinnacle of personal financial management, is when you get the single mom with herpes. That's when everybody's got their lease Beamer, you're like, oh, single mom with herpes over here. Yeah, look at that. And I paid off the deed or the mortgage to my house. If you have more financial questions, why is it not? Oh, wait, cancel. Why is it unsaved? Oh, there it is. If you have more questions about finances, it is much more quicker, betterer, much more bigger, involved than the 17-minute video I just did here. You could get my flagship book that I wrote in 2013 called Bachelor Pad Economics. When are you going to update it for inflation? Never, because I'm not going to. You update for inflation. The basics in this book, it remains the same. Bachelor Pad Economics. You'll notice it's a very thick book. It's almost 500 pages. You do not read the whole thing. You go and say, what chapters pertain to me right now? And you only read those chapters. So if you would like much more deep analysis, not to mention, oh, what do I do afterwards? Or what could I plan for in the future? I mean, you could read through the whole book. It's not going to hurt you, but it'd be a bit much. But you'd get an overall view. Oh, okay, the next step is this. Go check out this book, Bachelor Pad Economics, the Financial Advice Bible for men and women who are bold enough to read it. There we go. We got any super chats? We got a couple super chats over here. Hey, look, Andrew, what's up, man? Everyone go subscribe. He's big. Fellow motorcycle rider. Hey, man, trust all is well. No, it's not all well. I can't access my asshole consulting email because this new phone and Microsoft Authenticator won't let me. So I get to deal with that. Otherwise, I switched to Linux, and then I might go riding my motorcycle tomorrow. Andrew came up. We went riding around. Good times. Thomas Crown, $5. He says hello. Elon Musk, filthy jockstrap, $5. Dear Cappy, you are wrong. My 98,017.76% student loan debt from the Carlson School of Management to pursue my art degree has been satisfying. Please send lube. What about a bailout? You want a bailout too, right, Elon? All of us have to bail you out of your MBA program. By the way, the Carlson School of Management, which is at the University of Minnesota, that's their business school. Please do not ever send your children there or yourself there. It is a horrible business school. Please go to Western Governors University and get the equivalent degree for a fraction of the price with the exact same employment prospects. Potato sauce, $5 Stock market is closer to tarot cards and astrology than science. What, boy, especially nowadays that they just keep printing off more money. They have so abandoned fundamental analysis. I don't know what the Australian stock market is like, but here in the United States, our average PE is like 32 for the S&P 500, which is twice the historical average. Don't even ask what the dividend yields are. Like the fundamentals are just not there. But I think investors, they've lost it. They've lost any tethering to the real world, especially with this AI investing nonsense. Like When are you going to make a profit? When's the profit coming? Where's my money, Lebowski? And they just take bankrupt companies, refinance, we're going to take it private, we're going to take it public, we're going to leverage buy. And I'm just like, who keeps giving you people money? Like which banks, which one of you dickless fuck wonders is giving private equity firms money? Who's lending private equity firms money? Who are you people? Understand people and you'll likely find success. Here, let me give you my financial advice. This is how I'm not wealthy, but I'm free. Don't have kids you can't afford. Don't major in stupid shit. Spend less than you make. For men, don't get married, which means you can't get divorced. And what was the other one? Don't commit crime. And the most important one out of all that is spend less than you make. And then after you're done being young and trying all the new shit, finding out it's overrated, you'd be like, what do I do? Well, I'm free. I have no expensive hobbies. Blackooth, the MM. 20 generous dollars. Been a long time viewer, Kepi, but never managed to catch you live. I saw the vid you made on Dave Ramsey a few weeks ago. Wanted to let you know that I've heard way worse from that show, especially from Deloney. If you want a link, not really. Do we? I'm not belittling your offer. I just Deloney is what did I call? I called him Pew Boy. If you hadn't seen it, Dave and Deloney were slamming on this guy who didn't even have the right to write. He couldn't even defend himself. His wife was writing in about how he wasn't going to get married without shit. Andrew would know. He's the lawyer. Oh God, this is happening where you forget the words. Not preliminary. A contract that if we get divorced, prenuptial agreement. Sorry about that. And the guy had provided for her and 4 children very well for a quarter century. And no joke, Dave Ramsey and Pew Boy were like, this guy's scum. He's horrible. And I'm like, whoa. Okay, maybe you disagree that he didn't want to get married, and maybe you find prenuptial agreements distasteful, but this guy isn't evil. Like, yeah, that doesn't. He provided for the family for 25 years and 4 kids, and they were jumping down this guy's throat, who probably was unaware they were jumping down his throat. I lost a lot of respect for Dave Ramsey on that. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what? No. He's not signing over his fortune to his. Well, no. He's a scumbag? Okay. All right. It's, okay, have fun with that. All right. Oh, there. Andrew. Everyone subscribe to his channel. Prenuptial can do a lot to secure assets, but they do nothing to secure access to your kids or mitigate child support. The kids have their own rights enforced by a lesbian judge. Yes. If you think I am direct talking, go tune into Andrew's show. He is if you could imagine somebody more blunt than me. Yeah, I was a coward. I never wanted kids, so I never had to face this. But yeah, if I knew a guy who had a kid with a gal and she ended up being crazy, and then another gal fell in love with him, like, I really want you to ruin it. And he made her sign a whole bunch of fucking shit. A whole bunch of shit. How much of it is forcible in a court of law, I don't know. But yeah, you gotta, which I haven't thought about, but you gotta get some leverage that if wifey poo decides to skip out and take the kid, like, no, you're not taking the kids. It's not happening. All right, that's it. Questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. Link below is that book, Bachelor Pad Economics. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.